Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to another episode of CAOverwatch. We're finally back. I know it's been a bit of a hiatus. Life gets in the way, and frankly, I was just too depressed after all the Toronto Defiant games to talk about them. So I've sort of just been...
Guys, let me tell you about how much I have been crying myself to sleep lately.
Yeah, I know. So I've sort of been putting this off. I know Chris has too. It's been a struggle, to say the least. Especially going back and rewatching the games and knowing the outcome. It's painful to watch, but we're going to talk about maybe some of the good things, maybe some of the reasons why we think that this is happening, and then Chris has a hot take of the day for you. So yeah, let's get off right off the bat. Since our last episode, we played Philadelphia, Dallas Fuel, San Francisco Shock. Now, we never gave our predictions for the San Francisco Shock game, but I'm pretty sure everybody and their grandmothers knew that they were going to 4-0 us, so I didn't really see a point. Would have came on here for 10 seconds, been like, hey, Shock in 4, and shut the podcast off. So the close ones, in my opinion, would have been the Philadelphia Fusion and the Dallas Fuel one. Obviously, that ended up not being the case, as Philadelphia beat us 3-1, and then Dallas Fuel 4-0'd us. So, Chris, let's just kind of get into a very brief overview of what you thought about the games and what happened.
Okay, so there's a close game, that's a loss. There's they beat us, that's a loss, and then there's getting slapped. And Dallas Fuel is they beat us. San Francisco Shock was we got slapped.
I mean, I'll be completely honest. I honestly think Dallas Fuel slapped us, but yeah, keep going. We definitely got slapped by San Fran. We definitely got slapped by them.
Yeah, we definitely got slapped by San Fran. Okay. So one thing I noticed, so specifically with San Fran, and one thing that I honestly think was a big determinant of why we got slapped was our alt usage. I thought our ult usage was actual hot garbage during that game, and I'm comparing it to our ult usage, and I remember specifically back when we played Boston Uprising in the first stage.
Sorry, just to clarify, the first time we played Boston Uprising, right?
Yeah,
you said stage one.
First stage.
Okay, I just want to clarify.
Stage one.
Yep.
Yeah, the first time we played them, and we had some amazing Zarya, Ryan, D.Va combos.
Yeah.
But in this one, it was crazy stuff like Neko throwing in trances when we had already clearly lost the game.
Yeah.
IM37, that's a whole nother topic. Going on Zarya and just dropping grabs he's Ivy in his first game or two.
Yeah.
Oh man.
I think part of that, honestly, especially when you look at the San Francisco game, because I'll be honest, I think when I look at the three games, the most telling one for me was the Dallas Fuel one, because San Francisco, we got absolutely slapped, and it's I honestly think that they knew what we knew, and then the second that they started getting slapped, they just gave up, dude. If you watch the first point, the control map, we would walk in there, pick three guys, and then lose. It was actually fucking insane, and it was a goat's mirror matchup. We would drop three guys, and then it would be Yakpung feeds, and then okay, whatever, Yakpung always feeds. It's not that big. Oh, IM37's feeding, and then it's not even that big of a, and then Ivy would feed, and it's just oh my god, now it's a 3v3, and our threes, Lucio, Zen, and D.Va. It's just Troy Oben would get demagged, and then they would just forget about him, and then let him, kill. Literally, Troy Oben got demagged, killed Ivy, and then remacked. That just can't fucking happen on the Overwatch League stage, right? That can't even happen in a gold comp game, let alone Overwatch League.
Lots of stuff can happen on a gold comp game.
Yeah, exactly. Dude, even that, usually we could be hey, D.Va's out of mech, and people know to push her. So there's obviously a ton of miscommunication. For me, the Dallas Fuel one was probably the most disappointing. We can talk about poor ultimates in the San Francisco game, right. But at the end of the day, we could have had the best ultimates in the world. We're going to lose that game 4-0. The Dallas Fuel one was a team that not only should we have, I thought we should have won, and the only reason it should be close is because IM37 was new to the game and hadn't gotten fully integrated in the team. But we didn't just lose; we got legitimately slapped. And I shouldn't say slap because I think the first two maps, once again, this team does well in the first two and then poor in the last two. But the first two maps were closer and like somewhat winnable, but like it's inexcusable to lose 4-0 to the Dallas Fuel in the way that they did. Like the fact that Note would fucking go on Zarya and just clap I'm 37 Zarya is like unexcusable for this.
Yeah, that's why he's like his main. It's like I guess it is still flex, but like he's like known as a diva player.
Sorry,
No,
I said
yes.
37 for a second.
No.
Note's known for a diva player. AKM is a Zarya player, and the fact that AKM was absolutely slapping I'm 37, which is one thing. Like it's one thing to lose to AKM, which is disappointing because Zarya used to be our strongest position. It's another thing to like lose handily to AKM, and then when their second Zarya comes into play and just claps you, even like, man, like that's inexcusable. That'd be like Envy going on there and outplaying AKM. Like it's not. It should not happen.
It should not happen at all. If I was to think, I thought that San Francisco could have been like close to us maybe winning a map or two if they were getting their alt usage down. But you actually are right. Like honestly, Dallas Fuel still problems even beyond alt usage.
Huge problems. We should have even lost to Philadelphia Fusion, to be honest. I think especially the first one in that game we should have won. That game was closer. I'm 37 second game, but we've progressively looked worse, which is what concerns me the most. It was like we looked really good against Washington, and then not so good against Boston, but pretty good, right? Reverse swept. It's like whatever, and then we looked at Philadelphia. You're like 3-1, could have been 2-2 going to map 5, not great, and then we got 4-0'd by Dallas Fuel, and then San Francisco takes our lunch money and buys a fucking grilled cheese sandwich with it in front of it. Like it was like legitimately disrespectful. So we've, instead of like our team improving as the stage has progressed, which is what you would assume would happen with a brand new player like I'm 37, for instance, we've just gotten progressively worse. That's my biggest concern, and it's interesting how the play has sort of shifted from like a ton of multiple DPS comps, which we saw at the beginning, and we still do, but you're starting to see more and more goats. As teams are sort of realizing it's still the most viable comp in most situations, and that should favor us. We were one of the better GOATS teams, and then now it's like, not only are we not good on multiple DPS, which no one really thought we would be, we're also bad at GOATS now.
Yeah,
we have like nothing.
There's a couple of times where they're literally playing GOATS, but like the 3 like supports and 3 tanks are just split up. It's like this isn't even GOATS. You guys aren't even together right now. Like, what's going on here? So honestly, like, so I've like Jane hinted at it in his vlogs. Bishop hinted at it. Like analysts have hinted at it. It's like, what's wrong with us right now is like, honestly, I think it's team chemistry. Yeah, it's like that thing that like we can't specifically point to right now. Like, we have a bunch of great players who are not like adding up to the more than the sum of their parts right now. Like that's the problem. Our chemistry actually like it really sucks.
I don't want to say it's okay, so absolutely. So chemistry absolutely plays a part. Obviously Stellar leaving has hurt this team more than I think anybody really saw coming. I liked Stellar, but I was never the one who thought he was superstar carry Brigitte, right? Like I never put him in the conversation, and nobody did, and being one of the best Brigs in the league. But you're really starting to see, one, that the team really misses him, but two, and more importantly, we basically have 2 new players. Everyone's like, you just replaced Stellar with I'm 37, but that's not really the case, because we replaced Stellar with Ivy and then replaced Ivy with I'm 37, right? So now you got a rookie coming into the Overwatch League who now has to play Zarya, a fairly carry-heavy position, so that's tough. You then have Ivy, who's played the entire first stage as Zarya, very successfully, I might add. And then now he has to play Brigitte, which is a flex and a half for him, I assume, especially at this stage in the career.
Flex and a half.
And then you have Yakpung, who's fucking fed since literally game 1. And I hear analysts and people online talk about this all the time. Man, Yakpung's struggling this stage. Yakpung has struggled since game 1. But instead of having one feeder on our team, Yakpung, who would overextend, it used to be Ivy would be able to bubble him, at least get a shit ton of charge, and then pop the fuck off. And Stellar was really good at staying alive, so we could like keep it going. Now it's like if Yakpong doesn't feed, IM37 feeds, and if IM37 doesn't feed, Ivy feeds. It's literally every fight. It's like a coin flip on who's gonna feed. Like it's like the one every once in a while we have a fight where no one feeds and then we just win it. Like it's kind of annoying. So that's one thing that's bothering me with this team. Obviously, team chemistry is gone. Yakpong is looking worse because he's not getting the support because of team chemistry, and also IM37 isn't as good at Zarya as Ivy is, and Ivy's obviously not as good as Brigitte as Stellar was. So that's another thing. And then finally, IM37 I think is just not as good as people thought he was.
Yeah, honestly, I just have a quick comment on that.
Yeah, for sure.
Just like do a progression. So I feel like IM37 is very like solo queue like
he's raw. He's a raw talent for sure.
Yeah, he's like solo queue ladder star, as in he's like got that raw talent.
Yeah.
But he doesn't have those like soft teamwork like coordination skills, right?
Which is fine, because honestly, like I don't want to, and I go up a little bit of a hot take. Well, obviously, I just want to, when I say Yapong's a feeder, or IM37's not as good as people say, that's in relative to Overwatch League standards, right? We're all aware that there's some of the best players in the world. Nobody's trying to knock these guys and saying they're not 30 fucking times better than I'll ever be. But yeah, so obviously IM37's a raw talent. That does come with practice, and I don't mind the risk that was taken. The problem was, like, to be frank, it's like we bring in a new player and then we also switched up our whole team around. Like, it's not like it's not like we picked up a Brigitte player. It's like we picked up a player to play Zarya and then made our star Zarya player, one of the best in the league, play Brigitte, and then now it's like I even said it when he first picked him up. I was like, I don't think this is the guy that we need. Like, we needed a hit scan, but now we're running him not just I don't know.
It's hard.
Because obviously the main thing that I'm kind of trying to transition into is your thoughts on the Zarya. Yeah, like the fact that Ivy's no longer playing Zarya and IM37 is no longer playing Brigitte. He's actually playing Zarya instead.
Like, honestly, like I don't know how to comment to that, because part of me wants to obviously criticize that and be like, yeah, okay, literally our best player is on like a lower skill, less carry character. Yeah. But at the same time, I'm like, also he's not good at it. I'm just this fucking exactly.
Ivy's not just like a great Brigitte, which is fair because he's never played it.
Yeah, which makes sense. It's like
I don't expect him to be. Yeah, exactly.
But like at the same time, I'm just this fucking dude sitting in this room making a podcast. Yeah,
I know, but we were allowed to criticize, right? I'm not going to sit here and...
No, but that's not the point. The point I'm making is that, like, these guys, like Bishop, they work on this stuff every single day. There's got to be a reason why this is happening. There's got to be a reason why they're not keeping them on...
I think here's the reason. One, when you look at this team, aside from the fact that Stellar leaves, you think, what does this team need? We couldn't play Sombra. We needed a guy who could play Sombra, and we couldn't do it. We needed a hit scan player. Sorry, my phone's going off right now. We needed a hit scan player. And then we also needed like essentially what Stellar could do, someone who could play Brigitte. So the problem was he kind of was like, we need a hit scan player. This is going to be a multi-DPS meta. Let's go out and get a hit scan who's raw and could pop off before somebody else gets him, right? So we're first to that race. Mm-hmm. He then tries out IM37 on Brigitte. That was the initial play, was to keep Ivy on Zarya, right? Like, Ivy played Zarya versus Philadelphia Fusion. The problem was IM37, can't play Brigitte. Like, IM37 is worse than Brigitte than Ivy is. And he probably, because he's smart, looks at it and goes, okay, let me see the sum of all parts. The difference between IM37 and having IM37 on Zarya and Ivy on Brigitte is smaller than the difference on having IM37 on Brigitte and Ivy on Zarya. Because when IM37 was on Brigitte, he would legit just walk out and die every time. Like, you didn't even have a chance to see Yakpong feed because it was just IM37 all the time. Like, he wasn't, and again, he's a hit scan. Why the fuck would he play Brigitte, right? He has no idea. It's fine. I get it. I was never expecting him to be the star Brigitte player. So I think that was part of the issue. And then he was just like, well, fuck it. Like, the normal standard way of doing it is your hit scan plays Zarya and your projectile DPS plays Brigitte, Haksal, one of the best Brigittes in the league. Plays Genji, plays Pharah, exactly what Ivy does. A whole bunch of other teams do. With the Fran was the hit scan player, right? Kind of like IM37's like similar story, right? Like a solo queue guy coming into the Overwatch League. What hero did he play? Zarya. So that is how the teams sort of run it with a hit scan Zarya, but like in this team, I think you saw Ivy's ability to become a top 5 player in the league, and I do think that it was either one, the play was to leave him on Zarya and sign somebody else who can play Brigitte, or 2, just keep grinding it on 37 and hope that he can pick it up. But like frankly, I think that we should just sign another player who like a jack of all trades kind of guy who might not be as elite of a McCree as IM37 for instance, or even maybe a Widowmaker, but can play Brigitte to a much higher level and then also flex onto those heroes admirably. I mean, I know that's a fairly high ask, but like with you see so many trades and so many signings going on, like I would like to see us go out and get that type of player. I think that would help us more. So
that's how you see us fixing his problems, going out and getting that type of player?
Ivy goes back to Zarya, and we get a person like like an architect or something, like a Rascal, right? Like obviously, no, just go get a Rascal. Everyone wants a Rascal. I get it. But a similar type of player, somebody who can play Brigitte, but also flex on like Stellar, but also flex on to like Widow, or get Stellar out of retirement.
Hello, Stellar. Please come back.
But I wouldn't even mind just having somebody who can play Brig and then flex onto someone else. And then for those situations where you want to run DPS and you want to stick with DPS for certain maps, or for like Control Point for instance, run IM37. Fuck, put Asher in. Like, we looked okay with Asher. I don't know why we stopped playing Asher. Asher played 2 maps and looked good, and then we never played the same. Why why have Asher on the team? What is Asher? If we want to run Tracer, we run IM37 or Ivy. If you want to run Hitscan, you run IM37 or Ivy. Like why not replace Asher's slot with a Brigitte / with a fucking Brigitte player? Like, I don't know. Or keep Asher on the roster and just sign a 9th player who can do that. Like, I don't understand why we have a roster slot filled up right now by a guy who played 2 maps, played well, and then never played again. Like, I don't know what's going on behind the scenes with that, but that's my 2 cents.
Honestly, in terms of action plans and how we gotta solve this, you said most of it for me. You said pretty much all of it for me. But you hit all the points. Last thing I want to say in regards to that is that I just hope that maybe this is slightly like our first stage. We're just getting into it. We're settling in, playing some harder teams. That's why we haven't been as successful. But
5 games in.
We come in. We're gonna come in, have a nice week off, go to Vancouver. Be ready and slap them.
We're gonna go to Vancouver real hard. They're gonna fucking buy us poutine after they legitimately dick on us, and then we're gonna hopefully win against Paris. If we can beat Paris, and then we go into the off season and we get some, we get some signings, like I'll be okay. But if we lose to Paris, dude,
it's
okay. So I think the last. I didn't want to think about it. I think the last thing of the day was you said you wanted to talk about something before we started the show, Chris. You said you had a take that you wanted to bring up. Let's talk about it.
Okay, let's talk about goats. Goats. Okay, guys. Hot take. A little bit controversial. I like watching goats a lot more than 3 DPS or bunker comp.
Yeah.
Less so bunker comp, but more so DPS.
Oh,
and this is...
Continue. Okay. It's your take. Sorry.
Okay. This is why, guys. Okay. It's for a couple reasons. First off, goats, yes, is predictable, but what that means is that I know what teams are doing well and what teams aren't doing well when they do it. Mm-hmm. So, for example, like if I can see how good their Zarya bubble pushes are, or how well they're using their ult economy, but when in 3-3-3 comp, it's harder to tell because with a...
you meant like 2-2-2 comp, right?
Or 2-2-2, or like, sorry, or like 3 DPS comp.
Yeah, okay.
Because 3 DPS ham and what, like soul heals.
Yeah.
It's because what makes good 3 DPS comps is like map control. So if you're really good at map control, if you're really good at flanking pokes, then you're going to be more successful. Yeah. Whereas in goats, if you are good, like have better sustain and better brawl, then you're going to be more successful. Excuse me. As somebody who is like has, I would say, moderate knowledge about Overwatch, like not basic, not like very extensive, and which I think is in kind of the position of most people, I'd say that it's a lot easier to be able to like look at teams and to tell how good they are when I'm trying to assess how well they're sustaining and brawling and not like taking space. Yeah. So that's one of the reasons. The second reason is purely viewing sense. With 3 DPS, people are all over the place. It's basically a shit show the whole time. Yeah. It's like it's honestly it's hard to follow.
Well, that's the biggest thing, and I'm gonna kind of just add in on your points here. It's like I think the biggest difference between the two is the viewing angles. Like in terms of like I'm trying to sit there and take notes and try to figure out what's going wrong. Like it's in goats, it's easy to be like, oh, Yak Pung fed, or oh, IM37's bubble placement is shit, because I can see that, right? They're all grouped up. I get it. It's tough when I'm trying to figure out who's feeding. It's like, oh, did blah blah blah, Roki feed, or did like the Widow just hit a really nice fucking shot. Like, I generally don't off screen. We're up 1 kill off screen. All of a sudden, we're down by 2. And I'm like, I don't know what happened. Like, there's 2 guys off screen fucking fighting. Was it a poor fight? Did we get unlucky? Were we out of position? You know what I mean? Like, did they just outplay us? Was it like a 1v1 matchup and we lost it? Like, are they just more skilled than us? Like, it's that's the hardest part for me is sort of I enjoyed watching goats more because you could just, from an analytical perspective, it was easier to follow. It was more like a MOBA. It was more cooldown based, which is really interesting. It was the first time Overwatch has seen that. It's a little frustrating when it's like, oh man, we get a couple kills, it looks really good for us, and then their Widow pops off and just hits 3 shots, and I'm like, oh, we lost. Like, why did we lose? What's the improvement? I don't know, man. Fucking hope that he misses. Like, that's literally your solution there. Hope he misses.
It's hard to tell. That's the one other thing that I sucks about goats is that like all the usage is just boring. Like at this point, it's not even that it's boring. It's like, okay, someone could get like a 4K, someone could get a 0K, but it's like very predictable. It's like, okay, grab, okay, trans to counter,
exactly, grab for sure,
grab to counter. Like, okay, rally to counter, and okay, grab, bomb, and smash. Okay,
yeah, exactly. And the highlights are way better on the DPS, right? Like it is cool to see hit these Widows legitimately hit some insane fucking shots, whereas like play the game and it's like Reinhardt swinging his hammer killing 4 people. It's like, okay, cool. You know what I mean? Like,
so obviously it's a trap. It's like, okay, what do you like more? Do you like watching alts more, or do you like watching the general game?
Well, I do like kind of where Overwatch is going, which is having goats obviously be playable, but the goal is not to have it dominate the meta. Like that was the problem. Not a lot of people really, like not a lot of true fans really hated goats, right? Like it was kind of like a mom mentality. It's like the Nickelback effect, which is what I call it, where like one person hated goats and then one person's like, yeah, I agree, then everyone fucking hates goats now all of a sudden. Goats is fun to play, it's fun to watch. It's just when it's the only comp you see, it gets exhausting. Like you said, it's predictable, it's redundant. Goats on a couple of maps would be awesome. Like one map is goats, one map is dive, and then you see a bunker comp, and then it's quad DPS Hammond. Like that's what it should be. And that's where I want the game to be, and I think they're making strides to it. Because if I have to choose goats or non-goats, like that's a tough one, just because of how redundant goats can be. But I would love to see. I don't want Blizzard to kill goats. That's what I'm trying to say. I want it to remain in the meta and be a viable position.
Exactly. And if I was to like say how much goats I wanted in Owl, I want like 70.
You want
60
70?
It's a little honestly, high. It is a little high. I just like goats a lot, but I like honestly 60 to 70% goats, and like the rest. Like I didn't like it at the start of stage 2. Where it's at right now in stage 2, I like more.
Yeah.
Like I'm a fan of this.
Because I so for me it's like 50. I think if you have like 2 maps, like I enjoy seeing like 2 CP and Control being like DPS blocking comps, and then you get like the hybrid and the payload, or even like payload being goats and then the hybrid being like partial wonky comp, partial goats. Like I like that sort of where goats is like 50 to 40%. Like that's what I would enjoy. But you know,
At that point, it's just a difference.
Exactly. You're not wrong for enjoying to watch Code.
Yeah.
So I think what's healthy for the game though is having it played like around 40 to 30%. I think that's what's healthiest. It's more of an objective point of view. But in terms of just what you enjoy watching, absolutely, way more subjective.
Yeah, cool.
But yeah,
that's all I have, man.
Yeah, just closing thoughts. And you kind of brought to it earlier. Just I mean, I enjoy overreacting because that's just what I do and I like it. But end of the day, you're right. We played some good teams. It's not like we're going out there getting 4-0'd by, you know, the Washington Justice or the Florida Mayhem, right? We got beat by some pretty good teams. For the most part, top 10 playoff, like Philadelphia Fusion came second place last year, right? Running these sort of compositions. Dallas, you have a lot of talent. San Francisco Shock is an absolute monster of a team. So some people are putting us pretty lower in the power rankings. Like I've seen us as low as like 16. I think that's a bit of a stretch. Hopefully I'm 37 can pick up the Zarya play. I'm very curious to see what this offseason looks like. I think Vancouver's a loss, guaranteed 4-0. The Paris game, if we can finish Paris with like a 4-0 win, would be huge.
Yeah, it'd be nice.
3-1 would be nice. But if it goes to 5, it goes to 5. And if we lose, we're in big trouble. But assuming we win that game, I think we're going to be okay. We need some signings in the offseason, but like it's not the end of the world. I'm just trying to say like rough patch. We have 2 new heroes basically, right?
Yeah, and last thing
never played Brig. IM37's never played in the Overwatch League.
Yeah.
And I do think we might need a new main tank, but we'll see. We'll see.
Yeah, I feel that for you.
Yeah, I want him to succeed. I absolutely want him to succeed.
I really do.
And it could be not his fault, right? Maybe Zarya's not placed the bubbles correctly. Maybe Brigida's not having the proper amount of heals. Like I said, you got 2 new people playing both of those roles. And our, Lucio was never our strongest point anyway. So it very well could be that. Lack of team chemistry, Reinhardt gets exposed more often. Looks worse than he actually is. But we'll see.
Yeah, and also I just also want to like we're bitching a lot, but I still love you, Tron Defiant.
Oh, absolutely.
I love you.
We're not going to be a stage 2 playoff team, but I still have faith in Bishop we trust for overall playoffs.
In Bishop we trust.
Grand finals. Yeah, there we go. All right, that's all for me. Anything else? We good?
No, we're good to go. We're Gucci gang.
Awesome, guys. Feels good to be back. We'll be back hopefully one more before Chris goes to India. And talk about more of like a preview and, maybe if anything else to talk about, we'll let you know. Catch us next time.
Peace out.
Stay toxic.
Stay classy.
No, toxic. What?